No, it's not Chipotle. There's Cuban pastries in there. My strength coach went to Miami and brought back a box of pastelitos, so I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to eat some really fattening stuff.
Is that a treat for winning?
I'm sorry?
Is that a treat for winning?
No, I'm actually starving. I don't eat till noon, so it's hard to eat during the game. You know, I've considered either changing my fasting technique or having somebody with a training table right behind the bench, and you know.
I got it, Coach Martin. I want to start with a brief opening statement. Please raise your hand. I'll find your question.
Just hard game. And every game in this league, if you look at the scores around the league, every game's the same way. It's you know, it's I'm really proud of our guys because you know we're working really hard to create a winning mentality, a winning approach, and we're doing it with some young bucks, man, and you know, and then we got lucky. I mean, we worked our tails off. I'm not trying to take away, but we got lucky that somebody made a mistake, and that allowed us to figure out a way to make a free throw. But again, we got a lead going into the last couple minutes of the game, and we're making defensive mistakes with the game on the line with a lead. And you know, we can't. The last play's not a mistake. That's just I'm talking about the loose ball that they convert into the tying layup. That's not a mistake. That is just two teams just freaking. You know, Jaden tried to pick the ball up. He's got to go dive on that ball. But we made some bad defensive mistakes when we were up 6, and we can't make them. But we'll learn.
Coach, Rashul Diggins and Jaden Jenge made 2 big threes to get you guys to lead for the first time in a long time in the game. What did you really tell them after that second three was made in that timeout to kind of motivate them and keep them going?
Those two guys, I believe the ball rewards whoever works at things, you know, and a lot of people have told Jaden during his career, you're not a shooter, you're not a shooter, you're not a shooter, and I've never said that to him. But he comes in, him and Rasul spend more time shooting balls in the gym than probably the rest of the team combined. And it's only fitting that those two guys made those back-to-back threes. The thing that I was prouder of, because we shot good shots, we played with a greater purpose on offense in the second half. We actually got the ball in the interior, and we played inside out, and our bigs played with a purpose in there. I got to go watch the film because I got to help Matt because you know it's like he creates a lot of contact, and but he doesn't shoot free throws. So we got to figure that one out. I got to help him with some of that stuff. But with all that said, him and Josh gave us a presence in the paint in the second half, and they didn't in the first half, and that made a big difference for our team.
With so many, I guess not so many, but the last 2 close games you guys were on the other side of, does it feel good to win this one?
Yeah, no, it's like I'm standing there on the sideline watching, you know, because the last defensive possession we actually did a good job, and Dan comes out of nowhere to make a great contest on that backside 3. But then I'm watching that loose ball and guys diving, our guy, their guy, our guy, their guy, and the ball, nobody comes up with it. I'm looking there, and all I can think of is you got to be kidding me, man. I'm thinking a different word, but I'm not going to say that one here. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And when I saw, I think it was Polite? No. Who came up with the ball, shot the layup to tie the game?
Yeah, well, Polite dove on in and dished it to somebody.
Yeah.
It was, I believe,
Well, whoever it was. As soon as I saw the ball in his hands, I was like, and I looked, and all our guys had sprawled on the floor. I'm like, But listen, it's sometimes it gets taken from you, and sometimes gets given to you. And fluke play on both ways. I feel bad for their kid. I'm sure he's frustrated that he committed that mistake.
You give up 13 points off turnovers in the first half, and you cut that way down the second half. Just kind of did you not do that?
Yeah, we stopped. They got tremendous length. They're really long, and they do a great job of switching. And they played basically that matchup zone like most of the time today, and then 1-3-1 when they weren't in the matchup zone. And then they beg you, because of their length, to drive the ball between two players. And I spent the whole first half. I didn't do a very good job coaching us in practice to prepare for that, and that's on me. But in the first half, I spent the whole first half saying, stop driving it, throw it in there. And I don't think Josh and Matt were working as hard as they needed to create seals and a presence in the paint, not out of the paint. And that's at halftime, we spent a lot of time speaking about that. And we did it in the second half, and because of that, we stopped turning the ball over. It's and Mason's really physical, really long, and really athletic. They make it hard on you offensively with their defense.
Coach, you guys were plus 14 on rebounding margin today, 18 offensive boards. How important is attacking the glass to that winning mentality?
I preach it, man. It's been a staple of my career from my high school days. I couldn't do anything as a basketball player, but I can knock somebody in the back of the head, and I can figure out a way to go get a rebound. And every good player I've ever been around rebounds the ball. I've never been around good players that don't rebound the ball, and especially at this level. Some guys become specialists in the NBA and all that. You got to go get the ball, man. It's the ball's shot. No one has possession of the ball. Go get it. And we preach it, we coach it. It's taught. It's not by mistake. There's technique that we show. But to be a good offensive rebounding, there's got to be two things. Number one, you got to play well offensively. That doesn't mean score a bunch of points. That means move the ball, move the defense, take good shots. That allows you to go rebound. And then number two, you got to have guys that want to go get it. And Matt Cross, he goes to get it. Jaden Jinge, he goes to get it. Daniel, he's learning to go get it. We got to continue doing that. It saved us today.
Coach, you had several players, 4 players in double digits, including Rasul Diggins, who had 14 points.
Yep.
11 of them came in that second half off of made threes and free throws. What really, with Rasul helping the team out, especially late in that game, what really was the momentum guide in that, with Rasul helping out with the win?
Yeah, it's last year he would have hid. Last year he would have acted like something was wrong because he was so unsure of himself and so confused with, why is this not working? And he's made a complete U-turn with how he approaches not just basketball, all his responsibilities on this campus. And he's in this gym day and night. He never came in the gym last year. I've known Rasul since he's a kid, okay? The way he went about his business last year is not who he is. That's why we stayed patient with him, but we were demanding with him. And he's recentered himself to a guy that just loves to compete and stays in the gym. And we need him, He's taken on that responsibility, and he's growing in it. As a coach, a lot of times on the outside, individual talent gets complimented. Very few times on the outside do people understand behind the scenes work. And talent allows points. And when guys score points, people assume man, he must be a great worker. Well, that's not necessarily the case all the time. Rasul's learned how to work, and because of his work, he's being rewarded in games right now. And that ball's going in for him, and he's playing like a confident player. I got mad at 1-3 today because it wasn't the time. It was like a 40-foot shot, and I'm like, what are you doing? But at the end of the day, I can't, what am I gonna say to him? He works at it religiously day and night, and we need him to make some shots for our team.
Coach, yesterday you called onto the students to, come to the game and all that, and today I see one of the fullest student sections that I've seen in my time here. The crowd was one of the most packed, Moen Center crowds that I've seen, and how did that make you feel today, and what did you think of the impact it had?
It's awesome. It's what we're all working to create here again. It's everybody. That's not me. I coached here last year. Ain't nobody came last year. Okay? It's all of us. Marketing, administration, campus, the players. Our players go around campus. Our guys actually enjoy being around other students on campus right now. The spirit that they go about their business with every day. We had a game here the other day, and I don't think you guys saw it. I can't remember what game it was, but when the game ended, our guys went on the court over there, and we had 100 little kids with their families, and our guys were on the court like if it was a camp, like in the summer, not like they just played a hard Atlantic 10 game. We've got guys that enjoy that. And then the last part, got to win. Got to play hard. You got to play the right way, and you got to win. I'm a fan. I'm not paying to go watch guys jog around and get out of the way. I'm not paying for that nonsense. And it's hard to keep paying and paying and paying if you don't win. So we're trying to, all of us collectively, we're trying to all do our part. Some of our fans have been burned. Not my place to criticize, not my place, okay? We have to regain their trust. That the only way we can do that is by playing as hard as these guys play every day, and by everybody being excited about. If we're not excited about us, how can we get other people excited about us? And we're still in the building phase. We're not quite there yet, but that was awesome. That's a question better served for these two guys that were here. I don't know if you guys asked them that. I know our guys loved it. I can tell you on the bench, our guys loved it. And by the way, it helps me too. Why? Because it gets loud in there so people can't hear me. So that's
Coach, you guys travel out to the Riley Center on Wednesday to face St. Bonaventure, who just had a tough loss out at Dayton. What do you want to take away from today's game, as well as what do you want to see continue as you guys are on now a 2-game winning streak in conference play for the first time this season?
Yeah, we just one day at a time. It's like my biggest concern today has nothing to do with St. Bonaventure. It's the first weekend with students back on campus, and I've got a team full of first-year guys. I need them to understand this is not the time of year to go socialize and hang out and whatever. It's responsible players comprehend at this time of year. These games are hard. Your bodies are beat up. You got to avoid all that, and you got to go rest, because Monday, you got to go to class. And Monday, you got to practice. And Tuesday, you got to go to class. And Tuesday, you got to practice. And then you got to go travel to Olean, New York. And young players get wrapped up with, and put yourself in their shoes. They've been on this campus since we got back from Thanksgiving and haven't left. And there was nobody on this campus for the last 6 weeks. Nobody. They've been here by themselves. So that's all I worry. That's all I spoke to them about. Like, don't lose sight of what's important right now. I get the fact that there's people on campus. And that's the part to add to, Pedro, your question about the students. Now, you get students that come to games, and your team plays a certain way, and you got players that enjoy being around them, and now they come out and see a game like this, guess what happens?
Attendance goes up.
And students want to go hang out with our players now. So our players get duped into socializing, which I'm not against socializing. You know where I grew up in my formative years? The social capital of the world, South Beach. So you don't have to talk to me about socializing. But this is not the time. This is not the time. I want them to be college students and enjoy their journey. But this moment right now is about resting their minds and their bodies, because the game on Wednesday is going to be just as hard as this. The difference is the energy in the building is going to be against us instead of for us. So we got to figure all that out.
Did you see a specific strategy that George Mason was trying to defend Matt Cross with?
Yeah, they're long. That's the biggest. The strategy was, as soon as he caught it, put length on him. And then Matt got a little bullheaded and tried to force his way through two guys. And that's not the time. You know, when it's one-on-one, you gotta be strong, go do what you gotta do. But they did a great job of their matchup zone. They kept their size near the paint and got pretty wide. And we didn't do a very good job of driving the matchup zone. And so Matt's our best dribble driver. So if you put Matt to dribble drive, then he's not in the paint. So when he dribble drove, they always ran a second guy to him. And when you played him in the paint, you got to pass it to him in there. So when you pass it to him in there, they flock to him. And so we got to watch film with him. Because it's the first time anybody guards him like that. So we got to watch film like that so he can. You got to remember now, Matt's always been a pick and pop three-point shooter. So all this is new to him. All this responsibility of having to score in the paint, dribble, drive, it's all new to him. He's doing it, and I'm happy as heck he's doing what he's doing, but it's all new to him. He's also growing like everybody else. But they give Mason credit. They had a great game plan with him and Josh because they're long and they just, anytime we passed it in there, they just swarmed them. You know, that's why that three Jaden made, we did our deal. And boom, Josh did his deal, and we delivered the ball in the paint. And here came the swarm, and Josh didn't play selfishly. He kicked it, and Jaden, who had put in all that time, made that three. And, you know, those are the ones we want Jaden to shoot right now, those catch and shoot inside-out threes. Anytime he shoots that, we're okay with that one.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Good luck on Wednesday, Coach.
What's that?
Good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.